90% of podcasts don't make it past the 25th episode. Another statistic that I am very interested in is that only 5% of podcasts make it to the 100th episode. Guess which episode Worthy Woman Healing Podcast is on today? That's right! Happy 100th, baby! We made it! I didn't know those statistics going in. When I started this podcast, I had no idea about statistics, which is the way I am, right? I'm like, let's jump in and figure it out later, which isn't a bad thing. It's just sometimes if you don't know what you're jumping into, or if you're jumping into it all alone with no guidance, no support, it can end up crashing and burning, which is why I'm guessing, I don't know the reasons why, I haven't researched it, but I'm guessing that's a huge reason why people on a whim will say, hey, I want to start a podcast. Or people are telling them, you'd be a great podcaster. So they dive in, they don't have any help, they don't have any guidance, they just kind of dive in head first, and they don't even make it to their 25th episode, which is so sad to me because they probably have a lot of great things to say and to share in ways that they can serve people. It's just they didn't know what they were getting into and they did it alone, which I did not do. Praise Jesus. I have Steve Demetrius, my amazing podcast producer, who also produced my audiobook, which is what led into the podcast. So I'm going to talk all about today about perseverance paying off. And if you are interested in starting a podcast, this episode is for you. Stay tuned. Happy 100th episode, Worthy Woman Healing Podcast. I am Lisa Czak, your host. We did not start off, though, as Worthy Woman Healing Podcast. We started off as the Potty Mouth Preacher, which was a vision board that I did. That was a year before I even met Steve Demetrius, who is audiobook masters. What is it? Audiobook Master? Steve Demetrius. That's my producer. That was before I even met him. I was doing a vision board, and one of the things I put on the vision board, which I didn't understand because I never listened to podcasts. I didn't really even like podcasts, but on that vision board, I put the Potty Mouth Preacher podcast. And then I just kind of forgot about it. I just let it be. And Steve Demetrius, the producer of this podcast, he was doing my audiobook for me. And Portal Tears, right there, you can get the audiobook. That would be great for you to listen to. And I loved doing that audiobook so much for two reasons. The first reason is I didn't do it alone. I did not do that book alone. Steve produced that for me. And I loved it. I sat in my tiny little closet with all my clothes around me. My mom had just died. And there was something so healing about reading Portal Tears, which is the story about how I got into the best shape of my life and was then groomed by an executive producer who was a family friend and a sex trafficker. So that's Portal Tears. But there was something very healing about just me and God and my microphone and sharing my story, like speaking my story out, because I was no longer suffering in silence. So that was a huge thing for me. It was very healing. And so when the audiobook was done, I was telling Steve, I'm really sad about this being over because I really loved being in the closet and I love speaking. And before that last meeting we had when we were wrapping up the audiobook, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if Steve does podcasts because I really think I would like to do a podcast. I knew I did not want to do it alone though, because doing that audiobook, I'm not a tech person at all. And I just wanted to show up every day and speak my story for the audiobook. And Steve made it so easy. He made it so easy and effortless. Anytime I had an issue, all I had to do was contact him and he would take me through it like that. So there was no aggravation. I can't believe how smooth and seamless that was. So I was thinking in my head, I wonder if Steve would produce a podcast for me. However, I don't know if I told you this, Steve. I had some healing I had to do about that because I was feeling a little embarrassed about asking him, right? Imposter syndrome came in. Who am I to do a podcast? What do I know? What am I going to share with people? Nobody cares what I have to say. I'm just a mom. That's it. I'm a mom who wrote a book and about, losing 80 pounds and getting sex trafficked. What? Nobody's going to care. So I had that imposter syndrome going on and I prayed on it and I said, God, if it's your will, let it be done. So, and I was also embarrassed about the name of the podcast because I thought he might judge me because I know that he's a Christian and I was like, maybe he'll judge me. I don't know. But which is crazy because my whole book is full of F-bombs and like all of this stuff that I'm not proud of that happened and that I did. And yet, right? So it's just crazy the stories that we tell ourselves. So on that last meeting, we were about to get off and I was chickening out. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. My heart was racing. I was like, I can't ask him to produce this Potty Mouth Preacher podcast for me. So God is so good. God is like, girl, I'm not letting you off the hook. And Steve brought it up. Steve asked me, hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And a huge part of me wanted to say, nope, never thought of it. Don't like podcasts. I don't listen to podcasts, right? And I felt God going, girl, you better open that mouth and speak. You just did an audiobook telling your whole story, airing all of your dirty laundry out there. You better speak this. And so I said, actually, yeah, I did think about it. And Steve was so encouraging and just telling me how he thought I would be a great podcaster and I had a great voice and I'm a natural in speaking. And then I told him, yeah. And I thought, I don't know if I told him about the vision board. I don't remember. But I said, yeah, I was thinking about the Potty Mouth Preacher, which has like a nice ring to it, right? It just sounds good. It sounds like a good podcast. And he absolutely loved the name of it. And next thing you know, I'm signing a contract and I am on my way to doing the Potty Mouth Preacher podcast. Drop a heart in comments if you listened when it was the Potty Mouth Preacher podcast. And I got a lot of pushback from Christians, from family, right? That's blasphemy, that you can't say potty mouth preacher, that's not okay, that's not right. And I just pressed on because I was kind of known for dropping F-bombs, not just, for no reason, but when I got very passionate about things or when I was trying to motivate women in personal training, when I was just doing personal training, I had women that would be like, come on, give me something. I gotta push me, give me something. And my book is full of F-bombs. You can read all about the evolution of the F-bomb for me in Portal Tears. There's a whole story behind that. It's not like I just woke up one day dropping F-bombs. Well, I guess I kind of did, but there's reasons behind it. And so read the book to find out more about that. And anyway, I just kept pressing on and doing just one episode, and I loved it. I never got tired of it. I never was at a loss for what am I going to do. I had ideas and ideas and ideas that I had realized I had collected over the years with all of the women that I did healing on, that I did personal training with, that I did personal development with, and all the women that I've coached. And we started talking about how maybe the title isn't actually what I do, because I really pivoted from the personal training aspect to more healing, because I became a certified healer. And I realized that you cannot get rid of the weight on your body unless you heal what's inside, right? You can't fix the outside until you heal the inside. And so Steve and I started kicking that around. And I still kept going, though, with the Potty Mouth Preacher. And then I always had Worthy Woman. I did a Worthy Woman experience, I called it, during COVID, where I had women come in. And my daughter was saying, Mom, this is very biblically based. Well, I hadn't even read the Bible back then. I never really read the Bible like I do now. And so I was like, what? I don't think this is biblically based. And then I had women in the group telling me, wow, I just want to get down on my knees when I hear you preach it, Lisa. And so that's where the Potty Mouth Preacher came in, right? And it just wasn't ringing true. Like, I would tell people the title and they're like, oh, are you a preacher? No. I'm like, what? And then I stopped actually using what we call potty words, right? I stopped dropping F-bombs. There was like this evolution that happened. And so we did a complete rebrand to what you see now, the Worthy Woman Healing. And that's important. Any of you out there who want to do a podcast, or just in business in general, you might start off with, okay, this is what I want to do, right? And then you grow and evolve, persevere, stay consistent, and you're going to see an evolution that happens, a pivoting that happens. And it was scary for me to pivot into this new Worthy Woman Healing. And I was having all kinds of doubts and everything. And then I asked a good friend who was also in my programs, that I said, hey, because she did graphic design work. And I said, hey, can you come up with a new logo? I'm pivoting the podcast, my whole brand, to Worthy Woman Healing. And that's Melissa Carrick that came up with this. And the second she sent it to me, I just started crying. And I said, yep, that's it. That's the body part, right? Eating, staying centered and balanced, lifting weights, being healthy, and that's the healing part, and all under the umbrella of God and Jesus. And when she sent me this mock-up, I was just crying, because I was like, yes, that's it. That's it. And it showed, like, she knew me so well. Like, she had been in my programs, she's watched my social media, and she got me, right? She gets me. What's that line in Jerry Maguire? You complete me. You get me, right? So that's how this logo came about. And I just absolutely loved it, because it incorporates everything I do. Body work, mind work, soul work, heart work, healing, and God and Jesus, of course, all under the umbrella of God and Jesus. You are only as sick as your secrets. It is time to stop suffering in silence and join other women who are also on a healing journey, who are being raw, real, vulnerable, and honest with what they are going through in their life, what they have been through in their life. And wherever two or more are gathered, we know God is with us. It says it right there in the Bible. So there is power to group healing. Miracles happen in there. You have one woman sharing, opening up her heart. Suddenly everyone else in the group is saying, yeah, I've experienced that. I'm not the only one. There's such power in knowing that you are not alone in your suffering. You are not alone in your healing. And we meet twice a month. And in between those times, a lot happens, right? And it's important that you have time in between the sessions to practice the healing technique that I teach you, so you can come back into the group and celebrate with the other women. Hey, I actually remembered to do the healing technique in that moment. That trigger didn't derail me anymore. But it's practice. I'm also a personal trainer, right? You don't just get a 6-pack abs by doing one sit-up. You have to keep doing it over and over again. You don't run a marathon. You don't go out and run 13.1 miles for a half marathon the first time, right? You practice running a little bit every day. And that is what we do in Worthy Woman Healing Group. Join today and tell yourself, I'm going to give this a 3-month commitment minimum, because I know I need time to practice outside of these sessions, and come in and get guidance from the other women on how to actually heal all of these wounds, heal my mind, body, and soul, one trigger at a time. You are worth it. So I just kept saying, God, if it's your will, give me the stamina, the perseverance, the strength, the consistency, the ideas, the passion, because I don't want to lose the passion, right? The second you lose the passion, a podcast is that's true in anything in life. The second you lose your passion for it, your fire for it, for wanting to serve people, wanting to whatever it is you're doing in your life, right? It's going to go down. So that is huge, right? Because it's God and Jesus. The second reason I was able to be in the 5% of people who make it to the 100th episode is Steve Demetrius. Why is that? Yeah, I could have saved money and I could have just done this on my own. But just like my audiobook, I learned, I know this about myself. When it comes to doing stuff like this, where you're talent, I guess you'd call it, right? I just wanted to show up and do my thing. Like the audiobook, I just wanted to get in my closet every morning and press a button and tell my story, speak my story. And same with the podcast. I just wanted to show up and do my thing. And hiring Steve Demetrius as my podcast producer enabled me to do that. He makes it so easy. You can ask Steve. I feel like we should have had Steve. Steve, we should have had you on for this episode. So you could have told them what a tech nightmare I am. And, I started off in a garage. I started off in our garage because we didn't have enough rooms in our house to do our podcast. And then it got really hot because it's Tennessee, it's humid. So then Steve had to help me. When he came to Nashville to visit, he even came to my house to help me set it up in my husband's office. My husband and I shared a podcast studio and an office together. And Steve, you remember, that was a tiny little room. That was not a big room. And Steve came and he helped me set it up to make it super easy. Then we moved into another house and I had my own space. And I'm so happy about that. And it makes it so much easier because I have a space. When I come in here, this is podcasting. When I come in here, I know I'm going to press record and I'm going to start talking to you, right? I'm going to start teaching you. I'm going to start serving you. And that's important. It's just like when I was writing my book, I had to have a writing space. So my brain said, you're going in there, girl, and you're going to write. This is writing time. Well, this is podcasting time. So it's important to tell our brains, like whatever it is you want to do, especially a creative endeavor, that most people will, and I forget it's a low percentage of people who actually publish books also. That is another low percentage. And that's also something I never wanted to do. I never wanted to become an author. I didn't aspire to become an author. God told me, you're going to write this story. God planted that seed in my head when I did that vision board of the Potty Mouth Preacher podcast. That was a podcast. That was God planting a seed in my head. Something I never imagined I'd do, something that wasn't on my radar. And then do you see how he opened up doors and put the right person in my life to help me achieve that so that I could show up, just use the gifts, serve God in that way, and just show up and do my thing and let Steve deal with all of the stuff I hate, the tech stuff of the audiobook and of this podcast. So when it is God's will, He will open up doors and windows and place the right people in your life at just the right time. It's always on God's time. And so that you don't have to go it alone, so that you don't have to do the things that you hate doing. And I have seen just people I know, colleagues, other people I know, friends, start podcasts. They're like, oh, well, you make it look really easy, Lisa. And I try and convince them you need to hire Steve or somebody to help keep you accountable so that you show up and do the episode. And we started off, I think, just 2 episodes a month. And now we do a weekly episode, and we do, shorter episodes. So anyway, I don't know if that helps you or not. If you have any questions about starting a podcast or questions about me starting my podcast, feel free to reach out to me. And on this 100th anniversary, we're giving away free gifts also. Make sure you pick up my morning meditation, which will help you every single day. This will help you if you want to start a podcast or get into coaching or start your own creative endeavor or write a book. This morning meditation will keep you going in the right direction every single day. It will keep you focused. It will give you clarity and peace every single morning so that you accomplish what you want to accomplish. You take little steps every single day to reach that goal, whatever that creative endeavor is. And before we go, I just want to acknowledge and read off some of my favorite testimonials. They're not really testimonials. They're messages that I've received from when I first started as, the potty mouth preacher to all the way to my 100th episode today. So I'm just going to read some of these. So, Lisa, oh my gosh, lady, get out of my head, LOL. I hear that a lot with my clients. You're in my head, which is a good thing. If you're a coach, you want your clients. If you're starting a coaching business or struggling with your coaching business, you want to get in that client's head so they think about you during the day, meaning, oh, what would Lisa say? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Your podcasts are really hitting home with me. I'll tell you a secret. Every time I listen to your podcast, I'm like, yes, I need to do, and she did a fill in the blank. So sometimes I put off listening because I want to do the work, but I don't want to do the work. Drop in comments a heart if that's you, if that makes sense. I want to do hard things, but I also don't want to do hard things because they're hard. Drop a laughing emoji in comments if that's you. Just wanted to let you know that God is using you for me. Now that right there means everything to me because my prayer before I start each podcast is, God, use me. Help me reach that woman or women who need to hear the words you want them to hear. So I love that because I want God to use me in this podcast. This is funny. This is when I was the potty mouth preacher and I was getting a lot of hate mail about it and a lot of just hate in general about it. The haters were coming out. Screw the haters of your podcast name. They are some of the ones who need to do the work also. That's true. Lisa, I think most women don't think that they need any help, at least in our generation. I'm a Christian. I know from whom I seek and need help. But let me tell you, the tears were streaming when I listened to that number 10 podcast episode the other day. Go back and listen to episode 10 and see why the tears were streaming. And then let me know if the tears are streaming for you as well. Episode 10. Women need other women. I generally don't like people drop something and drop some fire in comments if that's you. I tend to isolate and often need to be reminded that we need other people, especially other women. Only we fully understand each other while we're here on earth. Anybody experience the Mean Girls? Yeah. Drop a tear emoji if you've experienced Mean Girls. I did growing up. Really mean. I was bullied. Lisa, Merry Christmas. I listened today to your latest episode. I think number 10. Oh, what is it about this 10th episode? Steve, let's go back and see what that 10th episode is, because I got a lot of comments on that. That must have been the Potty Mouth Preacher episode. So let's see what number 10 episode is, and maybe we can put it up in a banner up here so we can see check out episode 10 and with the title. Okay, I listened today to your latest podcast. I think episode 10. Girl, I rolled my eyes a few times, but what you ladies said makes so much sense. So I must have been interviewing someone. A lot of my problem is me, my mind, and what I do to myself. Drop a heart and comments if you are your worst enemy also. Lots of food for thought for me today. Received it right at the right time. God gave you the words for this girl. There's my prayer being answered again. God, use me. God, give me the words that you want this woman to hear. Thank you for mentioning me in your podcast, Lisa. You made me feel so important. You truly found your ministry, my dear. You and God have created a great business together. That one made me cry. I still get teared up about that one. That's who I want to be in business with. Me and God are in business together, with Steve doing all the tech work and producing it. Lisa, I watch all your episodes. You are so right on. God has given you this special ministry because you are special. Whoops. Oh. I just listened to the second episode of your podcast. My why is I am very talented and everyone would like me to work for them because I'm the best employee for their organization. That is one of the most important episodes I have done. Go back and watch the second episode. It'll be in the first season. It's the Potty Mouth Preacher. It'll still be on this channel though. And claim your why. Super important. Lisa, I love hearing your podcast, so positive, because it's human nature to always see, think, and believe the worst. I'm getting interviews almost every day this week from all different walks of life: lawyers, physical therapists, doctors, senior living establishments, City of Tucson departments. And what I love about that message I got is because the one that I read you before that was her why. Her why was I'm very talented and everyone would like me to work for them because I'm the best employee for their organization. And I love that she claimed her why. She got no interviews before she claimed her why, by the way. Before she watched episode 2 of Worthy Woman Healing podcast, she got no interviews at all. And then suddenly she claimed her why. And you see all the interviews. I just listed all those. It's very powerful to claim your why and your I am. I am applying my why from my episode to I'm applying my why from episode 1 to every thought, action, decision, behavior, person in my life, and believing it. I've always had my excuse of I'm too old to compete for this job. I can't stand out in all these electric files. Now I say, why not? That's a common theme of women I work with who now they're in the empty nest phase. Their kids are grown and out of the house. They were stay-at-home moms for a long time, and now they're entering the workforce and they're doubting themselves. So this is also a great episode for you to watch. Episode 1 is claiming your I am. That's the first step that I take in all my healing group, my Worthy Woman Healing group that we meet twice a month. The very first thing you do in there is claim your I am. Same thing on the Worthy Woman Healing retreats that I take women on. We claim our I am on that first trip, and we carry it through us all the 5 days that we're there. Lisa, thanks for making everything so simple. It's written all over the Bible, but do we really take it to heart and apply it to our own situations? Do we really grasp the reality that our bodies are temples for the Holy Spirit to dwell in us? Do we really believe that we are God's kids and we are His created masterpieces? Do we really believe, she puts believe in capital letters, by the way, where we walk is holy ground? Do we really believe We have the mind of Christ when we foster a close relationship with him. Do we really believe we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us? Or do we doubt ourselves and believe in the prince of this world, the devil? The battle is in our heads. Lisa, please give me an audio copy of your book, Portal Tears. And I just want to thank all of you that wrote me these beautiful, heartfelt messages. I keep them in a special folder so I can read them if I'm having doubts. And if I'm thinking, is anyone listening? Is anyone even hearing me? Your words help me. They help keep me going. They fill my cup, which is what I want to do with you on this podcast. And thank you to all of my subscribers. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. And remember, you are worth it.